With the 32nd selection of the 2013 first-year player draft, the New York Yankees select Aaron Judge, a center fielder from Fresno State University, Fresno, California. The New York Yankees also have the next pick.
Aaron Judge. He stands out. You're looking at a kid that is 6'7", 255 pounds. Matter of fact, he would match Frank Howard as the largest outfielder in Major League Baseball history.
I don't think that jersey fits. Hey, this kid's big. He's a stud. But you know what the difference between Frank Howard, any of those big names you want to throw out there? They said center field. This kid can run. He's an athlete. I mean, it's like incredible watching him move around.
Yeah, he can, and he's got huge power to all fields. This is a kid that does a lot of things that you'd think maybe he's 6'1", 6'2". He's 6'7" and 250 pounds. He plays like a little bit smaller.
Went to Fresno State, Greg.
With the 25th selection in the first round of the 2009 first-year player draft, the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim select Michael Trout. Michael is a center fielder from Millville Senior High School, Millville, New Jersey.
So excited and good history, team history, and they're winning program, and can't wait to go out and play ball.
As a kid from the Northeast, I know sometimes it's a little harder. You got to wait for the weather. Was that a little frustrating at times because you knew this was your dream, and weather sometimes got in the way in order for teams to get to see you?
Oh, definitely. I mean, I was sitting in school, and on rainy days, I'm like, man, I'm not going to be able to play today, and sad to say, but came through, and games I came, played good. And we had a winning season, and my coaches are out in left field, and say hi to them. And my fans out at Thunderbolt Club, I'll be down in a little bit, and I'm very excited.
With the third selection in the first round of the 2008 first-year player draft, the Kansas City Royals select Eric Hosmer, a first baseman from American Heritage School, Plantation, Florida. With the first selection in the 2009 first-year player draft, the Washington Nationals select Stephen Strasburg, right-handed pitcher from San Diego State University, San Diego, California. The Seattle Mariners are now on the clock.
There you have it. Stephen Strasburg is the #1 player taken, the first player off the board in the 2009 Major League Baseball first-year player draft. This kid's numbers, we can repeat it all day long. 13-1 this season, 195 strikeouts. That was first in the nation. An ERA of 1.32, second in the nation. Hits allowed per 9 innings, just barely over 5. John, is this guy immediately the face of the franchise?
Well, I don't know if he's the face of the franchise, but he is certainly going to impact this franchise. When you look at the Washington club, you look at their starting rotation, they've got a lot of young guys there, and obviously pitching is something that they needed. They just helped themselves immensely. They got clearly the best player, and now they're going to be at it with a lot of their young starters they have up there. Great move.
I think it's a great draft because they just showed assignability isn't the issue. They want the best player, so they took the best player that was available in the draft.
And that's the purpose of the draft.
Absolutely.
So that the bottom team gets a chance to get the best player. Hopefully they get the signing done and they move on down the road. I think it's a great day for the Nationals, and it's very exciting for Stephen Strasburg. I mean, congratulations, young man. You know, the #1 pick in the country. A lot of pressure was on him.
With the third selection in the first round of the 2010 first-year player draft, the Baltimore Orioles select Manny Machado, shortstop from Brito Miami Private School, Miami, Florida. The Kansas City Royals have the next pick, and they are now on the clock.
Manny Machado committed early to Florida International, but that isn't looking good right now. Number 3 overall to the Baltimore Orioles. He's been compared to Alex Rodriguez. Is that an overstatement?
No, it isn't. I mean, he's Dominican-born, growing up in Miami, very similar to Alex. But if you look at the size, the swing, all the different things this kid brings to the table, you can see where the comparisons come from. I said earlier, I thought he was, you're looking at the best player in the draft. Overall, you can put him anywhere on the diamond. But as you break this young man down, his breakdown is as good as anybody. When you start looking at mechanics, he's got great hands, he's got great size. There was a little bit of a knock on can he run or not, but the big key to me is that his ability to do everything on.
The Chicago Cubs select Javier Baez, a shortstop from Arlington Country Day School, Jacksonville, Florida. The San Diego Padres have the next pick, and they're now on the clock.
Harold, you called it. Javier Baez, an intriguing high school bat, committed to Jacksonville University. His junior year really put him on the map. He hit .463 with 13 homers and 9 stolen bases. Now, his skill set has his high school coach, Ron Dickerson, comparing him to Hanley Ramirez.
Well, you know what? I talked with a few people today. They were talking about Gary Sheffield-type comparisons with the bat as well. But when a club gets on a player and they start talking about him repeatedly and you fall in love with him, it's pretty easy to say they're going to take him.
With the 13th selection of the 2014 first-year player draft, the San Diego Padres select Trey Turner, a shortstop from North Carolina State University, Raleigh, North Carolina. The San Francisco Giants have the next pick, and they are now on the clock.
Big night for the NC State baseball program. First Rodon, now Trey Turner gets drafted, athletic shortstop, expected to stick at that position at the next level. Turner's biggest asset is speed, folks. As a freshman, he led the nation with a whopping 57 bags and 61 attempts, which included 29 in a row, without being caught to open the season. Thanks to an injury, he dropped 30 steals in 2013, continued to decline this season, stealing 26 bases. He has some pop, led the Wolfpack in homers with 8, also had 36 RBIs. Trey Turner to the Padres at number 13. John Hart, are you a fan of this selection?
I am a fan. Look, I think Trey Turner was one of the best college players in the country this year. Look, you're going to look at my evaluation, you're going to go, really? Are you sure? I've got him as a future 4-hit, 4-power. I'm going to talk about that in a second. But here's what.
With the first selection in the first round of the 2010 first-year player draft, the Washington Nationals select Bryce Harper. Thank you. I didn't think it was that much of a surprise. But, an outfielder from the College of Southern Nevada, Henderson, Nevada. The Pittsburgh Pirates have the next pick, and they are now on the clock.
Did everyone hear that? Yep. Outfielder Bryce Harper from the College of Southern Nevada. So right off of our conversation of what position he will be locked into, John, you nailed it. He's an outfielder. What do you think of this?
For me, it's all about the bat. These guys need position players. Washington also has a young catcher, Norris, that is waiting in the wings. I think that they feel that this bat's going to come quick, and they don't want to go through all the trials that you're going to have to do with a catcher.
Are you surprised that they're making the announcement here that he's an outfielder?
No.
With the first selection of the 2011 first-year player draft, the Pittsburgh Pirates select Gerrit Cole, right-handed pitcher from UCLA. The Seattle Mariners have the next pick, and they are now on the clock.
So there you have it. The big 6'4", 220-pound future ace from Santa Ana, California. Gerrit Cole goes number 1. Back in 2008, the Yankees drafted Gerrit with the 28th overall pick. He never negotiated with the Yanks. as he was determined to attend UCLA, where he flourished in 3 years. In 2010, he struck out 153 in 123 innings. This season was his least successful of his 3 college years, going 6-8 with an ERNIE over 3. He did strike out 119 and walking just 24 in over 114 innings, but he's a true power arm who sits between 96 and 98 miles per hour. The Pirates go with Gerrit Cole at number 1. Harold, you thought this was going to happen. What kind of pitcher is he in your eyes?
You can't pass up that arm. I love him, and I think he's the type of guy that can adapt and make some changes. He did that this year. So let's go back and break him down, get a look at what Gerrit Cole looks like. If you haven't seen him before, here's a breakdown of him.
With the 8th selection of the 2011 first-year player draft, the Cleveland Indians select Francisco Lindor, shortstop from Mount Verde Academy, Mount Verde, Florida. The Chicago Cubs have the next pick, and they are now on the clock.
Well, he's ranked at the top shortstop prospect in this draft. Francisco Lindor, switch-hitting shortstop with a great glove, just 17 years old. He doesn't turn 18 until November. They say he has pop from both sides of the plate, which he proved by winning the Affleck All-American Home Run Derby. Harold, the Indians going with the young shortstop. Your thoughts?
Well, again, you go with the best player available on the board, and that's what they did. I know a lot of people are sitting there going, what about Asdrubal Cabrera? Well, you know what? You can't worry about that. This is a high school kid. It's going to take at least 3 years for this young man to develop. You said he doesn't turn 18 until November, and he's frail. He's still got a lot of growing to do, but he's got great hands. This is a tremendous projected player, and really that's what this pick is about. You're projecting the future with him, John.
No doubt about it. The two.
With the 2nd selection of the 2015 MLB Draft, the Houston Astros select Alex Bregman, a shortstop from Louisiana State University in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. The Colorado Rockies have the next selection.
Alex Bregman, on a night where Carlos Correia makes his big league debut at short for the Astros. They take a shortstop with the number 2 pick, and Alex Bregman is standing.
With the first selection of the 2012 first-year player draft, the Houston Astros select Carlos Correia.
Wow! Wow! Wow!
A shortstop from Puerto Rico Baseball Academy, Puerto Rico. The Minnesota Twins have the next pick.
Carlos Correia is the number 1 pick in the 2012 Major League Baseball draft. You're looking at the pride and joy of the Puerto Rican Baseball Academy. Highest draft pick to ever come out of the academy. That distinction used to belong to catcher Ramon Castro, who was taken with the 17th pick in 1994. Carlos is verbally committed to play at the University of Miami, but after experiencing all this, we shall see. This means so much for not only Carlos, but his entire family. Many of his family members are here tonight. You saw them embrace him, especially his father, Carlos Sr., a construction worker who pulls shifts from 4 a.m. to 5 p.m., then comes home every day to hit his son ground balls and throw him batting practice.
I tell you what, looking at all the video, we've been discussing this before. When you got a shortstop of his caliber, it's hard to pass on the first pick with this kid. I mean, you're talking about a profitable, projected Alex Rodriguez, Troy Tulowitzki type of player. So it's a shocker, but it's a tremendous shocker, no doubt.
With the 2nd selection of the 2013 first-year player draft, the Chicago Cubs select Chris Bryan, 3rd baseman from the University of San Diego, California. The Colorado Rockies have the next pick, and they are now on the clock.
The Cubs pass on pitching and instead